Alright. I know, it's been like 5 months since the last part. I'm sorry that I put this line on the shelf for so long, but I promise you that it was well worth the wait. I understand that Kalos is one of the most popular regions in the Pokemon world, and this one seems to have grabbed a lot of the attention of my audience because of the specialty Pokemon that are in it. So, without further ado, you don't have to wait any longer. Let's get into the next part of What If Ash Was Born in Kalos. Today, we pick back up with Ash and the gang in the Pokemon Center when they are met by a woman named DIDNT. She greets Grant with the enthusiasm of an old friend, and Grant retorts this sentiment. The two begin to engage in conversation. Ash then nudges Alexa, asking why this lady looks so familiar. Ash, are you dense? That's DIDNT, as in DIDNT, the champion of the Kalos region. That's the champion, Ash replies. No wonder she looks familiar. Why does it seem like she knows Grant so well? I don't know, Alexa says, but we shouldn't be strangers. It's rude not to introduce yourself. So with that, Ash and Alexa both walk over to introduce themselves. Oh, I'm sorry, where are my Manthers? DIDNT, these are my friends. This is Alexa, she's a reporter for the Lumio City paper. And this is Ash, a trainer I've been traveling with as he challenges the gyms in Kalos. Oh, so another gym challenge we have here. Well, how are you doing, if I may ask? Ash, excited to have the attention of the champion, says, right now, I currently have 4. I actually just beat Alexa's sister at the Santalun gym. Oh, so Viola is your sister, Alexa? Wow, Ash. Viola is quite a strong trainer. You must have had quite the hard time beating her. Ash says, yeah, but in the end, my Pokemon were able to pull it out for me. So Ash, you have 4 badges, do you? I guess that would mean your next stop will be Snowbell City? I don't know, actually, Ash replies. Grant says, a matter of fact, that is. Ash intends to challenge all 8 gyms, and in the direction we're currently headed, we do have to head to Eastern Kalos. Wonderful, DIDNT says. The gym leader there is actually the toughest in the Kalos region, most say. So you'll have your work cut out for you if you intend to challenge him before you secure 7 badges. The toughest, Ash says? Wow, I couldn't even beat Karina and her Mega Lucario. How will I stand a chance against this guy if he's supposed to be the strongest out of the 8? Don't worry, Ash. I'm sure you'll figure out a way. So DIDNT, what brings you to Santalun City, Alexa asks? Well, that's actually quite simple. This is going to be the site of my next movie that I'm shooting. Movie? Ash questions. Oh yeah, that's right, Ash. In my off time, when I'm not having challengers at the Pokemon League, I'm actually a movie star. A movie star? Yeah, I've done a lot of famous movies here in Kalos, and they've actually gone worldwide. Ash is still drawing a blank. Alexa chimes in. You'll have to excuse him. He's from a place where not many movies are shown, referring to Amber Town. DIDNT just smiles and giggles a bit at Ash's naivety. Grant then chimes in. So, DIDNT, how about a battle for old time's sake? A battle, she questions? Yeah, I mean if you have the time, being a busy movie star and all. DIDNT checks her schedule. You know, I don't have to be anywhere this afternoon. I think we may have some time for that. And besides, it's been a while since I've had just a regular old battle. Most of my days are spent on set trying to get these movies right, and it can be quite frustrating when things don't go your way. So a battle might just be the way to take the edge off. Ash immediately steps forward. I would like the chance to challenge you, but Grant puts a stop to this. Ash, this was my challenge, not yours. I'm afraid you're gonna have to sit this one out. Ash wants to argue the point with Grant on why he should be the one to battle DIDNT, but Alexa just grabs him, covering his mouth in the process, telling him that he should really know his place. It seems that Grant and DIDNT go back, so let them enjoy this battle as old friends. Ash, against his will, chooses to be quiet. Oh well, if he can't battle, at least he'll get a chance to see the champion in action. That's gotta be worth something, right? So with that, they all head out to the battlefield behind the Pokemon Center. DIDNT and Grant both take their positions. They agree that this battle will be a one-on-one. Grant sends in his ace Pokemon, Tyrant. Oh, so you still have Tyrant, do you? And it still hasn't evolved yet. Is that little thing ever gonna grow up? Eventually, Grant says, but it has become quite powerful since our last battle. So let's see if you can take the win like you did last time. With pleasure, DIDNT says, as she sends in her Pokemon. What emerges from the ball is something of elegance, and Ash immediately pulls out his Pokedex, and he learns that this Pokemon is known as Gardevoir, a psychic fairy type. Ash is captivated by what he sees. This Pokemon, something about it just radiates power, but it's very deceptive in how it is. Ash, now fully involved in the battle, sits back as he wants to see what exactly this Pokemon Gardevoir can do. Grant, being the gentleman that he is, gives DIDNT the first move. DIDNT questions this, asking him if he thinks that's a good idea. After all, last time he did that, and it didn't end too well in his favor. Oh, don't worry, we got some new tricks up our sleeve. Okay, she shrugs, and she orders Gardevoir to start off with the Calm Mind. Gardevoir begins to hum softly as it closes its eyes, focusing its inner energy. What's that move? Ash questions. Alexa tells him that that's Calm Mind. It allows Gardevoir to focus on increasing its special abilities and allowing for more powerful special attacks, especially when it comes to its psychic and its fairy attacks. Grant, unfazed by this, tells Tyrant to lead with an ancient power. The mini Tyranno stomps its feet and roars loudly as stones begin to levitate around it, and it sends them flying towards Gardevoir. But it and Diantha are unfazed as the stones connect, causing damage to Gardevoir. Impressive, Grant. Your attacks, they've gotten faster. I told you, Diantha, we've been working on things. Especially having a training partner like Ash around, we've been upping our game lately. Diantha looks to the young boy on the sidelines as he is completely enthralled by the battle. Really, she thinks to herself, maybe one day I'll have a battle with this boy. But her thoughts are quickly interrupted when Tyrant makes its next move at the command of Grant as a Draco Meteor begins to rain down on the field. This, however, causes no fear in the duo of the champion and its ace Pokemon. Gardevoir rushes in, elegantly dodging the Draco Meteors as they fall from the sky, as they barely miss the Psychic-type Pokemon. It's almost like they have no effect on it whatsoever, and Ash comments on that. Alexa says, that's true. Draco Meteor is a Dragon-type move, and the Fairy types, well, they're unaffected by dragons. The advantage in this battle is solely in Diantha's favor. Then why would Grant choose a Dragon-type to face this one? I don't know, Alexa says. We're gonna have to watch. There may be a method to his madness. Back on the battlefield, Gardevoir has made its way to Tyrant. Diantha then orders her next move, Draining Kiss. Gardevoir then blows a kiss that eventually finds its target at the little Tyrant Pokemon, pushing it back, causing a great amount of damage. Not enough to knock out Tyrant, but it definitely is feeling it now. All the while, a glowing energy starts to envelop Gardevoir. Man, I should have seen that coming, Grant says. Yeah, you should have. So far, this battle's played out exactly like our last one, Grant. I was hoping you would have more tricks up your sleeve, but it looks like we might have to end it here. Grant smiles. Oh, don't worry, we have a couple more tricks up our sleeve. As he orders Tyrant to use Rock Tomb. Again, it stamps its feet, roaring loudly as stones shoot up from the ground, capturing Gardevoir. Oh, we haven't seen this before, Diantha comments. You're right, Grant says, as he orders Tyrant to fire another ancient power. Diantha then orders a Psychic from Gardevoir in an attempt to try and crack its rock prison, but it's no use. The rocks have too tight of a grip on Gardevoir, and it's unresponsive to her command. The ancient power is getting closer and closer to Gardevoir, threatening the match in the process. Diantha figures there's no choice. She has to activate her secret weapon. With one last-ditch effort, she reveals a Mega Stone, calling to Gardevoir for Mega Evolution. The Pokemon begins to glow as light envelops the area, allowing it to transform and break through the rock barrier that is holding it in place. The energy from the transformation then changes the trajectory of the ancient power, forcing it right back to Tyrant, hitting it with its own attack. As the light fades, what stands in the place of Gardevoir is a Pokemon of even more elegance and grace than before, as Mega Gardevoir takes the stage. Mega Gardevoir, Ash mumbles to himself. He can feel the power from this Pokemon. It's actually making him a bit nervous. More nervous than when he battled the Mega Lucario at Karina's gym. He then looks on as Diantha orders one final move. In Moonblast, the newly Mega Evolved Pokemon begins to glow with a radiant white energy as it fires a beam towards Tyrant that is too quick for the little Tyrannosaurus Mon to dodge, and it is enveloped in the energy, ending the battle in one fell swoop. Darn, Grant exclaims. I thought we had it this time. Well, at least I had to force you into Mega Evolution. Yeah, that was a close one, Diantha says. Last time, you didn't even get that close. Grant then recalls Tyrant as Mega Gardevoir de-evolves back to its base form. That was fun, Grant says. It's good to know that I'm improving, and soon I'll be on your level. I hope for the day that we can have a serious 6-on-6 battle, Diantha says. Me too, Grant replies, as Ash and Alexa join them on the battlefield. Diantha, that was amazing. How did you know that you would need Mega Evolution at that point? Why didn't you start out with it at the beginning of the battle? Well, Ash, Mega Evolution is a complicated subject. It's something that you must spend years mastering. Some battles never require it at all. Other battles need it sometimes. And then every now and then, you do have to start off a battle right from the beginning. It's really up to the trainer to decide, but you have to be in perfect sync with your Pokemon in order for Mega Evolution to be effective. If you're not, and you and your Pokemon are out of sync, you will never be able to master this technique. Ash then pulls out the Keystone and the Absol Knight that he has. He says, my main partner, Absol. I have a Mega Stone for it, and I have a Keystone. But for whatever reason, it refuses to acknowledge either one of them. It's like it doesn't want to use the Mega Evolution. Well, Ash, you see, some Pokemon, they may not want to use Mega Evolution. It's not something you can force on your partners. That's something you have to consider as well. But give it time. I'm sure eventually Absol will want to come around. Ash then goes to say something else, but then is interrupted when Diantha's phone rings. It's her assistant on the other line. There's a problem back at the movie set, and she is needed right away. I'm sorry guys, but I have to go. Grant, it was great battling with you again. I look forward to our next battle. I hope by then you'll be a trainer worthy of the Elite Four. That's the goal, Grant says. The Elite Four? Alexa questions, as Diantha takes off. Yeah, Grant says, I've been wanting to join the Elite Four for quite some time now, but I haven't quite been able to get on their level of strength. The reason why I decided to join Ash was so that way I can potentially increase my strength to the level of the Elite Four and take one of the positions from them. Wow, that's a lofty goal, Alexa says. How come you never said anything about this before? Well, it never really came up before, Grant replies. Ash, on the other hand, is completely silent, staring into the Absol Knight and the Keystone, thinking about what Diantha said, when he's snapped back to reality by Grant and Alexa calling to him. Ash, hey, are you alright? Listen, it's getting pretty late. Why don't we head into the Pokemon Center and get settled in for the night, and we'll head out first thing in the morning, so that way we can get a start to Snowbell City. Ash says, oh, yeah, let's do that. So they all head and set it. The next morning, the trio, they got an early start. Ash is intent on trying to master Mega Evolution. With that level of power and the skill that Diantha showed yesterday, he knows that he could become the top trainer. Not only that, but he knows that he can use that ability to help Lysander Labs further their development of technologies to help the rest of the world. It's going to take about a week or so for them to make it to Snowbell City for Ash's next gym battle. So they have some time on their hands. So Ash spends the first day or so trying to convince Absol that Mega Evolution should be something they should at least try. Why write it off? They've never even used it before. But Absol isn't hearing it. He wants nothing to do with the Absol Knight. And Ash just can't seem to figure out why. You know, Ash, you really shouldn't force it. If Absol doesn't want it, then it doesn't want it. Remember what Diantha said. Some Pokemon, they just don't want to Mega Evolve. Absol could be one of those Pokemon. Yeah, but that type of power, the power that she displayed, the power that Karina has, what about any other gym leaders in Kalos that may have the ability to Mega Evolve? It's something that we have to be ready for. And currently, I don't have any way to beat anybody like that. Yeah, Ash, but you have to be concerned about your Pokemon as well. Remember what Diantha said. You have to be in sync with your Pokemon in order for Mega Evolution to work. And if you try to force the Mega Evolution, you won't be in sync because it's not something that your partner is going to accept. Yeah, I guess you're right. So with that, the group continues on their travel, traveling down Route 21, heading towards Snowbell City. When Ash encounters a trainer, though this trainer is not very special, he does choose to have a battle with it, using his newly evolved Yanmega. The trainer is taken back by this. He's never seen a Yanmega like this before, considering this trainer has a Yanmega of his own, but they are completely opposite. Come to think of it, this trainer has seen a Pokemon that has similar colorations to that Pokemon before. Ash, Grant, and Alexa all look at him. Similar? What do you mean by similar? Was it another Yanmega? No, it wasn't. If I'm correct, I think the Pokemon was called... Oh, what was it? It was... yeah. That's right, a Manectric. Manectric, Grant mumbles to himself. The trio all look at each other. They know that this can only be one person, Mabel of Team Flare. Without hesitation, where did you see this at? Grant demands to know. The boy nervously says, it was about 2 days east of here, close to a place called, the Chamber of Emptiness, I think. An ancient site that was being excavated. I just happened to stumble upon it. And the girl, well, she didn't really battle me. She kinda chased me out of there with her Pokemon. Really? Okay, thanks, Grant says. And with that, he takes off running, leaving Ash and Alexa behind. That's odd. Grant's never acted like that before, Alexa says. Ash apologizes to the boy, as he has to cut his battle short because he needs to catch up with his friend. And they take off running after Grant. Eventually, the two are able to catch up with Grant as he's lost his way on the route. Ash was the one who had the Holocaster, which has the map in it. So the only thing he could do was wait for them to catch up to him. Grant, are you okay? Why'd you take off running like that? I'm sorry, Ash. It's Team Flare. You know they can't be up to no good, especially if it is Mabel, and they're at a place called the Chamber of Emptiness. From what I hear, that's the site of an ancient ruin that has something very powerful sealed inside. And if that's the case, we cannot let Team Flare get it. I believe you're right, as a voice rings out from behind the two. The trio look back to see a man clad in armor behind them. Wickstrom? Alexa says. The one and the same as he greets the trio. Wickstrom? Who is this? Ash questions. Ash, are you really that dense? You really have no idea who any of the top trainers in Kalos are? No, not really. Ash, this is Wickstrom. He's one of the members of the Kalos Elite Four. So you're saying he's a strong trainer? Yeah, He is, Grant says. A smile appears on Ash's face as he completely forgets everything that they were just talking about. He immediately runs up to Wickstrom. Hey, can we have a battle? Ash, I don't think there's a time for that right now, Alexa says. But Ash isn't hearing anything she says or anything Grant says, as both of them are trying to snap him back to the reality that Team Flare is near and they need to find them. Wickstrom looks into the eyes of this young boy. He doesn't know what it is, but he feels like he must battle with him. Ash, was it? Yes, sir. Okay, we can have a battle. I don't see any harm in that. But Wickstrom, sir, Grant says, don't worry. This will be a quick one. Grant reluctantly quiets down. Wickstrom is a member of the Elite Four. Maybe he has an idea. Wickstrom then looks to Ash. So you want to battle with me, do you? Alright, we'll have a one-on-one battle. And the battle is over when the Pokemon faints. Ash is okay with this. He just wants to battle another strong trainer, especially if it'll have the chance to help him convince Absol they should use Mega Evolution. So the two take their place, readying their Pokeballs. Ash sends an Absol, and as the disaster Pokemon emerges from the ball, you can tell right away that there's some intense feelings between the two. Ash seems to be completely oblivious to it, but Wickstrom is not. Alright, an Absol. Well, I guess I'll choose my best Pokemon as well, as Wickstrom sends in his Scizor. A Scizor? What's that Pokemon? Ash questions as he pulls out his Pokedex, and the Pokedex tells Ash that this Pokemon is known as Scizor, a Steel Bug type, the evolved form of Scyther. A Steel Bug type, is it? Well then, we have our work cut out for us because we're at a disadvantage. Then Ash says something that Wickstrom was not expecting. Hey Wickstrom, by any chance, do you know Mega Evolution? This catches the Elite Four member off guard. He wasn't expecting somebody to ask for Mega Evolution right away, as Ash is inquiring if Wickstrom will use it from the start of the battle. I don't know if that's such a good idea, Ash. Hey, you're the one who said that we would have time for this, and Grant wants us to get it over as quickly as possible. So, if you have Mega Evolution, why not use your strongest form right off the bat? Wickstrom looks at Scizor and Scizor looks back at his trainer. They both shrug. Okay, you want our strongest form right off the bat? You got it. As Wickstrom reveals his Mega Evolution keystone and activates it, transforming Scizor into Mega Scizor. As the Mon emerges from the energy light, a very apparent thing becomes known to Ash. There's no way that he'll be able to beat this thing. You can see the defense that it has, and with them being at a type disadvantage, there's no way they'll be able to crack it. He's gonna have to use Mega Evolution here as well. Ash throws the keystone to Absol, telling it to grab it with its mouth. The only way they'll be able to win this battle is if they use Mega Evolution. But as the Absol Knight goes flying towards Absol, the Mon just jumps out of the way, letting it land on the ground. It wants nothing to do with this Mega Evolution, and Wickstrom can see this. Ah, I understand now. Understand what? Ash says. The reason why there's so much tension between you two. You are on your own quest to master Mega Evolution, are you not, young sir? Yes, I am, Ash says. Well, let me tell you, boy, your Absol wants nothing to do with Mega Evolution. Not in this form anyway, and it seems that you're trying to force it on it. And if you continue down the path you're on, I'm afraid to tell you, it may reach a point to where any damage that's done is irreversible. Ash looks at Wickstrom, trying to process what he just said. He then looks over to Absol, and to his surprise, it's actually laying down, like it doesn't even want to battle anymore. This is unusual. Normally Absol is the first to fight. Absol, come on, let's get in the battle. We don't have to use Mega Evolution. But nothing. It won't respond to Ash, no matter what he tries, pleading with it, ordering it, yelling at it. It just won't respond. You know, young sir, you won't be able to get through it like that. Ash, now getting frustrated, says, oh well, I don't have to use it. I can use something else. So he recalls Absol and sends in his Cranidos. As Cranidos emerges from the ball, Wickstrom is immediately caught by its off color. Well then, what do we have here? Such an unusual breed of Pokemon. I've battled many Cranidos in my day, but never have I seen something like this. Cranidos, unlike Absol, is ready to battle as it stomps its feet and lowers its head, ready for a charging position. That's it, Ash says. Alright, Wickstrom, we're ready. And he orders Cranidos to rush in with a Zen Headbutt. But the young fossil is too slow, as Mega Scizor just counters it with the Metal Claw, driving its head straight into the ground, ending the battle right there. What the? No way, Ash says. Oh, I'm sorry, but you didn't have a chance the moment you swapped over to that Cranidos. Its primary typing is Rock, if I'm correct. And well, a Pokemon that's that low a level against a Mega Pokemon with a high attack and a type advantage like my Mega Scizor, you were doomed from the start. Ash just looks on. Wow, so many different Mega Evolutions, so many different powers. It's awe-inspiring. This is a power that he wants for himself. No, he needs for himself. And if Absol won't help him with it, then he'll find another way, another partner that'll want to Mega Evolve with him. After all, Absol can't be the only Pokemon out there that'll be able to Mega Evolve. But as Ash is locked in his inner thoughts, Alexa and Grant chime back in. Hey Ash, now that you've had your battle, can we go? Oh, yeah. Wickstrom says, yep, that was the deal. One battle, one one Pokemon to faint. He then recalls his Mega Scizor. That was an interesting battle though, Ash. I will tell you that, even though it was severely one-sided. Perhaps in the future, your Pokemon will be more of a challenge. I look forward to the day I can battle that Cranidos, and I want to see what it can do. Immediately changing the subject, Wickstrom, you know about Team Flare in the area, Grant says? I do, and I've been tracking their movements for several days, because they found a place called the Chamber of Emptiness. This place was said to be a mythical place that really didn't exist, but somehow found it. But what I'm concerned about is the legend that surrounds it. It's said that there's a great power that's locked inside, as nothing but this power is said to exist there. Well, what are we waiting for, Alexa says. We need to get going right now. After all, this could have more to do with the discolored Pokemon. Discolored Pokemon? Wickstrom questions. Yes, Ash says. My Cranidos is only one of them. I also have two others. And he sends out his Chespin and his Yanmega. The Yanmega captures Wickstrom's attention. He's never seen one like that before. So, these Pokemon are the ones you're saying they're after? Yes, Grant says. For some reason, they seem to be at the center of some sort of plan Team Flare has, but we haven't been able to quite figure it out. Every altercation we've had for them, their sole purpose was to take these specific Pokemon from us, and we don't know why. So, you have more than just these three? Alexa then sends out her Skiddo, and Grant sends out his Tyrant. Yes, we do, Grant says. Well then, I think it's in our best interest if we get going. The Chamber of Emptiness isn't that far from here. So with that, the trio follows Wickstrom through the dense foliage of the forest, making their way until they come to a cliffside overlooking an area that's been sealed off by many Team Flare grunts. And at the center of these grunts stands the person they were most afraid to see, Mabel. And beside her is the main Netric that the boy spoke of. Grant grits his teeth. This is what I was afraid of. I figured that they might be here. Wickstrom, do you have any idea what they're doing here? I don't, but it seems that they've been successful in opening something, as Wickstrom points to an opening that's been carved out in the cliffside. Alexa opens her camera, immediately beginning to take pictures. It's at this point that Grant and Wickstrom form a plan. They decide to leave Alexa on the cliffside just in case things go south, while he will draw the attention of the grunts and Mabel. It is at that point that Wickstrom and Ash will make their way inside to figure out if there's anything of value inside of that opening that Team Flare created. So with that, they put their plan in action. Alexa hangs out on the cliffside, taking pictures from afar, ready to jump in with her and Noivern at a moment's notice, while Grant rushes in with Tyrant to get the attention of Mabel and all of the grunts. Hey, you remember me? Grant yells to Mabel. Oh, I remember you, the Silent City gym leader. Grant, was it? And your Tyrant. So, have you finally come to your senses and decided to give us that Pokemon? I'm afraid not, Grant says, and I'm also afraid that I can't let you cause any more harm to the surrounding area. Whatever you're here doing, it's over. You're gonna put a stop to this operation, and you're gonna leave now. Mabel just laughs. You really think that you're gonna be able to enforce that upon us? You and your lone Tyrant? I hate to break it to you, sweetie, but there's nothing you can do to stop us, as Mabel orders the Flare Grunts to attack, but Grant doesn't stick around, as he orders Tyrant to follow him, and the two take off from the area, giving Ash and Wickstrom the opening that they needed to slip inside the cave. Once the two are successfully inside, they awe at what they see. It's nothing, pure darkness. Ash, in an attempt to try and light their way, sends out Slugma, hoping that its fire will be able to provide some sort of light, but nothing. It's a void where light is completely absent. Wickstrom, realizing the severity of the situation, tells Ash that they need to be on guard. Ash agrees, and he tells Slugma to stick close. Wickstrom, in abundance of pure caution, sends out another one of his Pokemon, his Aegislash. Ash is curious about this Pokemon and would like to use his Pokedex, but at this time, it's not a good idea, as the two are fumbling their way through the cave slowly. Wickstrom tells Aegislash to use its ghost-type abilities to see if it can sense any type of movement throughout the cave. Aegislash does, and it begins to move in a direction slowly so that Wickstrom and Ash can keep up, with Slugma slowly in tow. After what seems like an eternity, the group have finally made it into a room that appears to finally have some light in it, but the light is very dim, and in the shadows they can make out a person, but they don't know who it is. Wickstrom knows they need to be cautious here, but Ash, being Ash, calls out, "Hey, you, what are you doing?" blowing their immediate cover. The shadow turns, looking at the other two shadows from its perspective. It could also see the slight glow coming off of Slugma. It knows that its cover is blown, but no matter, it's found what it came here for. Wickstrom can see the slight outline of an object sitting on what looks like a pedestal. The shadowy figure grabs it and begins to run out of the cave. Wickstrom orders Aegislash to intercept with a Shadow Ball. It fires away, but nothing. Ash orders a flamethrower from Slugma, but again, it misses the target. They have no idea if their shadowy figure is still within the same room, but they can hear a radio comm coming from down in the tunnel. "I have what we came for. We need to evacuate immediately. Our cover is blown." Ash and Wickstrom give chase with their Pokemon from the direction that they heard the sound, eventually making their way outside, and all they see is a chopper off in the distance as Team Flare makes their escape, while Grant and Alexa Alexa join both Wickstrom and Ash. Are you guys okay? Ash says. Yeah, same here, both Grant and Alexa say. It's the oddest thing, Team Flare. They didn't actually want to battle us this time. They weren't after any of our Pokemon. Really? Ash questions. That's odd. Normally they're demanding that we hand over our new Pokemon. Yes, this is very strange, Alexa follows up. What were they after? I don't know, Wickstrom says. There was somebody inside that cave, and they took something, and I have fear whatever they took could have grave consequences in the future. Over on the Team Flare helicopter, Mabel is phoning Xersic as a new companion that we have yet to meet. Celosia sits beside her. Did you obtain what you were sent to get? Xersic questions. Yes, Celosia says, as she holds up an odd-looking ancient bottle as the chopper flies off in the distance. Back with our heroes, they're preparing to part ways. Wickstrom is intent on following up with Team Flare and what they may have gotten out of that cave. He's extremely concerned, and he knows if nothing's done about it, disaster is what awaits at the other end. But he doesn't want to leave without offering a parting gift to our heroes. For Alexa, he offers her a coat of arms, something that's been passed down in his family in generations. This is something that's very precious to me, he says, and it's only given to the people who demonstrate the utmost bravery, and I believe you have done that. Ash, being the 10-year-old boy he is, wants one of his own. Wickstrom then turns to him. I'm sorry, I actually don't have any more of those with me at this current time, but I do have 2 items that you and your fellow gym leader Grant here might find some use of. Ash cocks an eyebrow, questioning what this is. Wickstrom then presents 2 odd items that appear to be new, not ancient, like the crest that he just gave Alexa. What is that? Ash says. Metal Coat, Grant says. Metal Coat? That's right, Wickstrom says. It's an item that's used to evolve certain kinds of Pokemon, like, for instance, an Onix into a Steelix, as Wickstrom looks at Grant. Really? So Pokemon can evolve using items just like Mega Evolution, Ash says? Yes, Wickstrom implies, but you have to be careful with this type of item, because this item is not an evolution that is temporary like Mega Evolution. When this Pokemon evolves, it'll be permanent. Whoa, Ash thinks to himself. So we really have to be careful on the Pokemon we use this on. You do, Wickstrom says, but I would like to present one of each to both of you. Thank you, Ash replies, but Grant is silent. He doesn't know what to say. He never thought about evolving his Onix. It's never been something that's really ever come up, but now he has the option, and he has to decide on whether or not he wants to do it. So with that, Wickstrom says his goodbyes and leaves the group for parts unknown as he seeks to find out further information on Team Flare. Our heroes then decide to continue down Route 21 in pursuit of Ash's next gym battle in Snowbell City. Ash and Alexa decide to do some training together with each other, as Absol is still choosing not to acknowledge Ash. The pressure that Ash has been putting on it to Mega Evolve lately has really gotten to it, and it has gotten to the point to where it wants nothing to do with its trainer. So Ash has chosen to focus on some of his other Pokemon, like Chespin, as he still needs some time training with it. But the Mon is coming around. It's becoming more confident in itself and its abilities, and it's even learned a couple of new moves, like Rollout, and one that surprised even Alexa, Dual Chop. But while this is going on, Grant has been struggling with his inner decision on whether he wants to evolve his Onix or not. And not only that, but as soon as they get to Snowbell City, he has to contact Looker and fill him in on what has been going on. After a few more days, the group does eventually make it to Snowbell City. Grant tells his friends that he's got a couple of things that he needs to take care of, and a phone call he's got to make, and he apologizes to Ash, but he's not going to be there for his gym battle. Ash tells him that's okay. He's confident that he'll be able to take on this gym leader with the help that Alexa's given him over the last few days. So with that, Ash heads off with Alexa to the gym. Meanwhile, Grant makes his way to a secluded part of the city, and he pulls out the same device that he pulled out back at the power plant, hitting the button, signaling for Looker to come to him. Over with Ash and Alexa, they've made it to the gym, and once they're inside, they are met with a burly beast of a man, Wulfric. In a deep voice, he greets his new challengers. What? Challengers? No, I'm not a challenger, Alexa says, but he is, pointing to Ash. Ash steps forward. Yep, that's right. I am your next challenger, and I only have one question for you. Do you know Mega Evolution? Wulfric, taken back by the tenacity of this kid, just laughs. Yes, I do know Mega Evolution, he says. As a matter of fact, I've known it for quite a long time. Ash smiles. Alright, I want to challenge your gym, and I want you to come at me with every Mega Evolution you have. Oh, really? Wulfric says. Alright then, how about this? Normally in my gym, we do a 3-on-3 battle, but I'll give you a sporting chance, young sir. If you can beat my one Mega Evolution with your 3 Pokemon, you will earn yourself a badge. Really? 3 against 1? We got this in the bag, Ash says. Kalos. Wulfric laughs again. I like your confidence, boy. Let's get started. With that, the two trainers take their position on each side of the battlefield. Wulfric sends in his Pokemon, Abomasnow. Abomasnow. Ash pulls out his Pokedex to get information on this Pokemon. And as he does so, a hailstorm begins to kick up. What? Where did this come from? Wulfric laughs. That's Abomasnow's ability. Snow warning. It induces a hail for the battlefield. I hope you like it, because it's going to help when I do this. As he pulls out his Keystone and he activates his Mega Evolution, transforming his Snow Abomination into its most powerful form, Mega Abomasnow. Ash smiles, thinking to himself the challenge that he's been seeking. Without hesitation, he sends in his first Pokemon, Slugma. As the tiny fire slug emerges from its ball, it is immediately met with the hail. Ash, not paying attention to what's going on, doesn't realize that this has one negative effect on Slugma. The cold weather is causing it to harden and slow down the magma within its body. This is causing Slugma to move very slowly, and Wulfric takes advantage of this, immediately calling for a wood hammer. Ash calls for Slugma to dodge, but it can't get out of the way in time, and Slugma is leveled with the hammer in one shot. What? How? Wow, you really weren't paying attention, were you, kid? You're Slugma. It's a fire type. And not only that, it's a fire type made out of magma. The cold weather slowed it down. I'm surprised you didn't notice that. Ash looks on. Wow, he's right, he was thinking to himself. I got too overzealous in making my choice. I thought a fire type would be a sure win against a grass ice type. He recalls Slugma apologizing for his oversight. Don't worry, I won't let it happen again. He then sends in Craniados. As the odd-colored fossil emerges from its ball, it stamps its feet, ready for battle. Wulfric is intrigued by this odd-colored Craniados, wondering what its deal is. But he doesn't question anything. He just wants to continue the battle. This kid had tenacity, and he wants to see if he can bring it out of him. So he goes ahead and orders another wood hammer. But Ash isn't going to fall for that again, and he orders a Zen Headbutt to block the wood hammer, canceling it out. Well then, it seems all that tenacity that you had wasn't misplaced after all. That was quite the counter. Ash, was it? Well, you've got my attention. So, I'll give you the next move. Ash, without a second thought, orders Craniados to rush in with another Zen Headbutt. Wulfric just laughs as he orders another wood hammer. But this time, instead of swinging in a downward motion, he orders Abomasnow to swing up as he's caught on to Ash's trick on how he has Craniados angle its head down to prevent it from taking any serious damage. And because he's caught onto this trick, the wood hammer connects, knocking Craniados back into the stadium wall with enough force to crack it. Ash just looks back at Craniados. No way. How did he see our strategy? No one's been able to figure that out. Not even Grant when we first used it against him. Wulfric just laughs. You're gonna have to do better than that. You wanted my best, and this is what you got. And so far, your performance has been below standard. Ash looks at Wulfric, gritting his teeth. He didn't think that one Mega Evolution would be this hard. He and his Pokemon have been training his butt off, but still, nothing. Ash looks to Craniados and is barely able to stand. He begins to question whether or not he should even allow it to continue to battle. Craniados slowly staggers forward. It's not going to give up that easy. I like your Pokemon's gusto, Ash, but I'm afraid this is where it ends. Ash says we'll see about that, and he orders Craniados to rush in with a Zen Headbutt. The little Pokemon is winded, but it does so, doing whatever it can to pick up any speed and traction over the ice-covered field. But Wulfric is ready for this battle to end, and he orders a blizzard that envelops Craniados, freezing it in its spot in the field. What? Ash says, now it's frozen? How? Why? I told you, Ash, you were going to have to do better than that. Your Craniados is now unable to battle. Move on to your third Pokemon, and hopefully it will be more of a challenge than what I've faced so far. Ash recalls Craniados. His confidence is now slowly starting to turn to doubt. He's down to his last Pokemon, and this gym battle is going nowhere near what he had envisioned in his mind. Then he starts to run over the Pokemon that he has left in reserve. Chespin is at a huge type disadvantage and doesn't have the experience to battle here. I'm afraid Yamega may not be able to handle the high winds inside of the gym due to the hailstorm, and Absol isn't listening. That only leaves me with one choice, the Pokemon with the most experience on Ash's team. So he sends in Cloudster. As the strong-armed shrimp emerges from its ball, Wulfric laughs at this odd choice. Really? You want to use a water type against a grass type? Well then, you must have some foolproof strategy that I've never seen before. I'm interested to see how this is going to turn out, Ash. He gives Ash the first move, and Ash gladly takes it as he fires a water pulse. Cloudster does what he can to muster up the strength to fire the strongest water pulse it can, but Wulfric isn't going to give Ash or his Pokemon the time of day, ordering Abomasnow to rush in with another wood hammer. And unfortunately, Cloudster is not fast enough to dodge, and is met with the high-powered attack, one-shotting it in the process. ending the battle. Well, Ash, it seems you couldn't even come close. You didn't cause any damage to my Mega Abomasnow, and it just ran through your team of 3 like no tomorrow. It seems you're going to need a lot more training if you hope to be on my level, but I wish you the best. Feel free to challenge my gym anytime. And with that, Wulfric turns and walks away, leaving Ash to contemplate what just happened. Later on that night at the Pokemon Center, Ash and Alexa finally meet up with Grant. Where have you been all day? Alexa says. I'm sorry, I just had some things to take care of, Grant says. But they're all taken care of now. So, Ash, how'd you do? But Ash has a look of complete devastation on his face. It was completely one-sided, Alexa says. It was a clean sweep. Ash couldn't even touch Wulfric and his Abomasnow. And to top it off, Ash asked for Mega Evolution right out the gate. Ooh, so it was that bad. Well, I guess we're gonna need to do some serious training. Are you up for that, Ash? Ash just looks at Grant, and he doesn't even say anything. He just gives a shrug. Nothing is going his way. He can't get Absol to agree to the Mega Evolution, and now Absol's not even listening to him. And not only that, but he can't seem to beat anybody that has Mega Evolution. All these recent losses are seriously starting to cause Ash to doubt himself as a trainer. It's at this point that Wulfric walks in the Pokemon Center to get his Pokemon checked up on. He then sees the young challenger from earlier on in the day and goes over to greet him and introduce himself to the new gentleman that has joined them. Wait, aren't you? Yes, Grant of Silent City, right? The gym leader. Yes, it is me, Wulfric. It's been a long time. Yes, it has. What brings you to Snowbell City? Well, I'm actually traveling with Ash. I've been traveling him since he won my gym badge, and I've been helping him train on his journey. Well then, Wulfric says, to be brutally honest, you're gonna need a lot more training. Ash looks up at Wulfric with a look of pure defeat on his face. Yeah, I kinda got that, Grant said, after they told me what happened with today's battle. But don't worry, Wulfric says, there's actually a place to the south of here that we call Pokemon Village. It's deep within the woods, and a bunch of wild Pokemon live there. It's actually the perfect place to train. I promise you, if you head there and spend the next couple of weeks training there, Ash, you and your Pokemon will find the answers that you've been seeking. Answers? Ash questions. But before he can ask Wulfric what he means, Wulfric just leaves, leaving the young trainer to contemplate his thoughts. And the next morning, Ash is up bright and early. He's feeling a little bit better after thinking about what Wulfric said. Alexa and Grant join Ash. So, what's your plan, Ash? I'm going to take Wulfric up on his offer to head to this Pokemon village that he spoke of that is deep in the forest. He said there's a lot of strong wild Pokemon that live in that area, and they'd be great for battling. And he said that I can find the answers that I seek there. I don't know what he means by that, but it's definitely worth checking out. Yeah, it doesn't hurt, Grant says. So with that, the trio heads south of Soap Point City to a heavily wooded area. But it's odd. After hours of traveling, they haven't ran into any Pokemon. Ash doesn't get it. Wulfric said that there were strong Pokemon here, but there's nothing. The forest is mostly desolate. It looks like it hasn't even seen life in decades. Grant and Alexa begin to think that they're being led on a wild goose chase, but they humor Ash for a little while longer. Then, when they start to lose sight of the sun, Grant chimes in. Ash, I think it's time we turn back. It's been 6 hours now, and we haven't found anything. I believe that Wulfric was just leading us on a wild goose chase. No, Ash says. He said it was here, so it has to be here. But Ash, there's nothing here. Look around us. The forest is dead. What do you hope to accomplish here, Alexa says. Ash begins to argue with his two friends over what's right and what's wrong, and how they need to stay here. Wulfric told him he would find the answers that he's been looking for, so he's going to continue on. Unbeknownst to the trainer and his friends, this argument has caught the attention of a watcher from deep within the forest, and this watcher is not very fond of humans. It has been mistreated by them in the past, and when they invade its territory, whether by accident or by choice, it always makes sure they pay. This watcher sets out in the direction of our heroes, aiming to push them out of its territory back towards the human civilization. All the while, Ash and Grant are arguing whether or not they should continue on, when all of a sudden they are met with a ball of psychic energy. They look up to see a creature that is unfamiliar to either one of them. Ash pulls out his Pokedex, but it has no information on this creature. Then they hear a voice inside their head. Leave now. You nor any other humans will threaten this place. If you do not leave, then I will make you leave. Who? What? Ash says. That Pokemon. It's a psychic type, Grant says. It has the ability to communicate in our minds. The Pokemon then launches another ball of psychic energy at our heroes. A psychic type, eh? Ash then sends in Absol, in hopes that his dark typing will at least be enough to fend off this psychic type. But once Absol emerges from the ball, and it sees the psychic type and then looks back at Ash, it wants nothing to do with it. And again, it goes to lay down. This frustrates Ash, and he begins to yell at Absol, but he's interrupted by Grant. We don't have time for this, Ash. We're in danger here. Look at this Pokemon. Ash turns to the Pokemon to see the look in its eyes. It is not willing to back down, and if they don't start to retreat, then this Pokemon will cause them harm. I'm not going anywhere, Ash says. If Absol doesn't want a battle, then I have 5 other Pokemon that will. So Ash picks up his first ball and sends in Cranidos. Cranidos at least shares the dark typing with Absol, so it should be able to fend off this psychic type fairly well. But Ash then calls for a Zen Headbutt, firing it away at the psychic type, but the psychic type is easily able to dodge. Ash then calls for a Zen Headbutt, firing away at the psychic type, but this psychic type is easily able to dodge, frustrating both Ash and Cranidos. We're not leaving, Ash says. I was told to come here to train, to find the answers that I seek, so that's what I'm doing. Ash then drops his bag as he joins Cranidos at its side. He and Cranidos will not be pushed around by this Pokemon. It doesn't matter how powerful it is. Then he hears a voice inside his head again. You had your chance, human. Now face my full wrath. As the Pokemon begins to swell up, a ball of aura in its hand. Grant yells, Ash, get out of there. That's not a psychic type move. That's an aura sphere. But before Ash or Cranidos can respond, the Pokemon fires it at Cranidos, sending it flying back towards Ash's bag that he had dropped on the ground. Once it hits the bag, it begins to roll with it, spilling the contents of it out everywhere. Cranidos struggles to stand back up. That move took nearly all of its HP away, and it is breathing heavily. Ash looks at his Pokemon in pure shock, but Cranidos takes a step forward. But as it takes that step forward, it steps on the item that Ash was given by Wickstrom. And in response, Cranidos begins to glow with an evolutionary energy. And that's going to wrap it up for What If Ash Was Born in Kalos, Part 8. How do you guys feel about this one? What is going on with Ash and his obsession with Mega Evolution? Do you think he's on the right track, or do you think he needs to leave it alone? What about Team Flare? What were they doing in the Chamber of Emptiness? And what was that strange object that they found? Also, how do you feel about Ash's loss to Wulfric at the Snowbell Gym? And of course, that surprise last entrance and evolution at the end of the part. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And in a new way to end things on the channel, I'm going to start naming off each one of the patrons so that way they can see that I really appreciate their individual support. So, we have Silverheart Soul, Robert, Vegito Gaming 78, Andrew McCartney, Patricio Gonzalez, Holazev, I do believe that's right, I hope, Julian Rodriguez, Ruben Watson, Lord Explosion Murder, Flyer 943, Jacob Perry, Tavern Landlord, Car 2D and 3D Animations, K. McKnight, Kevin Atran, and Maker YAG. Thank you guys for your support, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And I will see you in the next one.